Well, there are less than 8 hours now until Americans start voting in the midterm elections. And one group of people who will certainly be having their say are the small business owners. And for them, very few issues matter more than the economy, taxation and healthcare. I caught up with Sam Caucci, who's an entrepreneur who often lectures about small businesses in the US. And I asked him what his priorities were for these elections.
Speaking from my perspective as a business owner, people need to be going to the polls thinking not just about their business and where the last few years have put their business in a pretty strong position, but they also need to be thinking about which elected officials are going to represent them in office and represent the interest not just of their business as a whole, but also their people. And I think that so much is missed today in the conversation around the elections with business owners' interest, again, not just in what type of positive impact it can have on their business, but the fact that the impact of the election is so strong to the employee. We need employees to show up to work every day and are excited, energized, educated, prepared, and healthy. So business owners have a lot at stake when they go to the polls on Tuesday.
So are you saying that people need to be sort of thinking out, well, if the Democrats retake the House of Representatives, for example, who's going to be in charge of the various committees? Is it that kind of thinking that you're suggesting?
It's important that we consider what the candidates are involved in beyond just the hottest topics that are being talked about, in the news cycle. And it's always, we're talking about healthcare. We're constantly talking about education. We're talking about more than ever here in the U.S. We're talking about immigration and immigration policy. But, to your point, we need business owners and folks that are going to the polls to be aware of what type of impact their elected officials are going to have on even the minutia, the smaller details in the day-to-day business, which, whether it's happening in Congress or it's happening at the state level, that is the real important stuff that sometimes goes missed.
Yeah. You're asking a lot, though, aren't you, of the individual voter to have this kind of macro grasp of policy?
Well, I think, unfortunately, today, with the way that people access news, I think that we are asking for, and I think it's a responsibility of people that take advantage of their opportunity and right to vote, that, today we need to work a little bit harder to make sure that we're making the right decision. There's so much at stake in this election. And, you heard over the last 48 hours, more people stand up and say this is one of the most important elections in the last 10 or 20 years. And while I'm sure there's a lot of rhetoric there, because of the way technology has impacted the way people silo themselves and surround themselves with maybe only a specific set of viewpoints, again, it's more important than ever today for people to try to better educate themselves. And you know what? That starts also with, just impacting and influencing your friends and your neighbors to give people the facts about what might impact them most.
If there is a change in the control in the House of Representatives, coming back to that again, it is possible that we get some kind of a legislative gridlock, isn't it? Is that going to have an actual impact on business?
You're going to immediately see people start running for president. It is going to legislatively bring to a halt many initiatives on one side of the aisle in return for the other side of the aisle beginning to fight to take back the office of the president in 2020. So it'll absolutely be into gridlock. And I also think that's why business owners have so much at stake. And I do believe that business owners are a category that not a lot of people are talking about that are going to get out to vote. Traditionally, business owners are more likely to vote than the rest of the population. They're consistently out in midterms, and business owners have to fight to make sure that their voice is heard. And you know what? If the House does switch, it means more than ever do business owners need to make sure that they are communicating down the ballot to elected officials who might represent them in Congress locally. This is an opportunity for business owners to get more engaged in the political process, which is something I've talked a lot about even with our clients. We have clients all over the globe at One Huddle who are constantly talking about the workforce and talking about topics like how do we better educate and upskill our workers. These are topics that, again, sometimes get drowned out because of all the other issues that get brought up during campaign season. The House of Representatives goes to the Democratic Party. You are going to see the next 2 years be probably one of the most unproductive 2-year periods in a long time in American politics.
Finally, then, are you saying that a small business owner is likely to vote the Republican slate? Are they going to go right down the ticket voting Republican?
I mean, I think that if you're a small business owner today, you're feeling pretty good about the economy. And you talk about over the last 2 years, you have an economy that has been on an upward tick. You have hiring up, you have wages up, you have job seekers up. We just had a jobs report that came out that said 3.7% unemployment. You have a lot of positive movement. And with small business owners being a big part of the U.S. economy, being 2/3 of job creation, being the source of that, I think that it would be very fair to say that business owners that come out to the polls are going to vote to continue the trend. And whether they vote Democrat or Republican, they're going to vote in the direction that keeps that trend moving. And that is 100% why this is a group that is going to be getting out to vote tomorrow.
Sam Cauchi, and in the words of Bill Clinton, it's the economy, stupid. Well,